Good morning. I'm trying to zoom in on this moon right here in the sky, and I can't tell if I've got a clear image or not, but the sun is not too far away from it at all. Um, it's a beautiful day out. If I had to guess, you could hold both your arms up in the air and you could point to the moon and the sun at the same time with both your arms only slightly extended. That's how close they are to one another in the sky. And I don't care what anybody says. It's so unusual. Hello. Yeah, it is so unusual to see this moon out. I don't know if we've got a clear, trying to see how I can get it really clear, even though it's like it is. I can't shrink it down. I'm trying to shrink it down. If I shrink it down, it makes it blurrier. I don't know. This is, it's kind of hard for me to navigate this live videos when I do the moon or the sun on YouTube anymore for some strange reason. There, I think we've got it. I'm gonna shrink him down a tad bit if I can. Well, I'm just having difficulty shrinking it down a little. Hello and good morning. Good evening from Germany, Belfast, Ireland. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Yeah. Well, I guess it still is morning. I got a bee flying around me. It's still morning, so I guess I haven't got outside too late. Let's like move this moon up a little more, because it just goes down. It's going to set in the western sky just like the sun does. Oh, can I shrink you a little bit? Oh, there, we shrunk him a little bitty bit. Looks like a perfectly round ball. Of course, it could be a 3D hologram like some people feel it is, or it just could be a real ball up there, shaded on that side. I don't really know what the moon is anymore. I really don't. And it really doesn't matter to me. All I know is it's up there in the sky, and the sun is up there in the sky. They're both up there in the same time, and they both are the same size. That's really neat too, when you have a moon and a sun both the same size. Let's see if I can see a comment. I've got my iPhone 8, and I've got my tripod out, and I've got this Skoski cell phone adapter that you put your cell phone in the Skoski thing, and it clamp your cell phone in, kind of like a selfie stick apparatus, and then it's got like this little thing that you put on the eyepiece of your telescope, and you just screw it down, and then your eyepiece on your cell phone, your little camera, it looks straight through your telescope lens and zooms in on the object. But in this case, I've got this hooked up to my compact binoculars because they're so small, and I don't have a big item to have to mess with, a big equipment. If you didn't know anything about me, smaller is better for me when it comes to equipment like this. I don't need a fancy telescope, and you don't need a fancy telescope to zoom up on things. All you need is a simple tripod. Well, you want to make sure it's sturdy. A sturdy tripod, a pair of small, good compact binoculars that have like a small eyepiece area, not the big fat ones, because if you get this Skoski cell phone adapter thing to put your cell phone in to look through, it's not going to clamp over the big part of the bigger binoculars or telescope, but I think it's pretty neat. It's a good invention. And I do have telescopes, but I don't use them. It's very rare. You woke up at 7:20. That's pretty neat, Robin. Yeah, it is my phone. It's my iPhone. And I can zoom up far with my iPhone. And my compact binoculars allow me to zoom up even further. And then when you do a live video on either Facebook or YouTube, you can zoom up even further depending on how their program is for the live videos. So I think this is pretty interesting. Let's look up. I don't know how close we can zoom up on it. And I think this somehow like auto adjusts itself. I wish we could go look inside that hole. But I don't know what's in that hole. I really don't think these craters are what they say they are. It's up in Norway. Oh, wow. Hello, Flo. I'm gonna shrink him a little bit, him or her. But yeah, this moon and the sun, I'm gonna have to bring this handle up. This is very, you gotta be very careful when you move your lens, or you're not gonna get this up in the air like you're supposed to get it. I wanna let this moon come down like this. Hola! Hola, Malibu Messiah. I don't know if this is coming in clear for you all or not. Yeah, this moon is kind of grayish in the daytime, but when you try to zoom up on this at night, it literally is a great big light bulb. Now, if this was a big light bulb, I guess you could picture it like, you know how they make a globe? And I think they might have some globes that have a light on the inside of them, and then it lights up like the moon. What if the moon is something like that? I know some people feel it is, but then if it's a projection, well, that could be too, I guess. It's pretty clear, but it looks so wrong. I know. This is how it looks in the sky. It doesn't look normal anymore. I think the days of what we used to see the moon and the sun like, I believe those days are now gone. And I don't think they'll ever come back. So we got this now. Certainly it shouldn't be pointing downward like it is, but that's what it's doing. It's pointing downward. I got a little dizzy. I felt the earth move. I'm trying to do this handle on this tripod. I guess I could like, oh, did you see that? I thought I seen something just then. May not have, let's see. I don't know what that is. I can't zoom up any closer. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can get this at an angle to where we can see something on the moon, but I'm not able to see it like that. So I don't know what that area is right there. Let's shrink him down a little more if I can. Oh. No, I guess I'm not that good at it. Notice when the light does not refract off the moon, you can't see it. It's half a moon. You only see half. What light reflects looks like atmosphere sky with the other bodies. I know, this is so weird. And you know, what if, like someone suggested, whether they were joking or not, what if the moon is, what if what we're looking at is really just completely flat? And we only see, because we only see one side the whole time. How can it do that? How can it never rotate? How can it never spin? That's the curious question. Why can't the moon ever spin around so we can see the other sides of the moon? It's like the Transformer movie, The Dark Side of the Moon. Um, yeah, yeah. So, could be a fake moon. We never know. We really don't. It's just, our world is so different. Our world is ever changing. And people are changing too. Um, yeah, it's just so strange to see the moon during the daytime. I'm sorry, it really is. So that would have, with the moon right here. And sometimes I've seen the moon. I seen it. I seen it rise in the eastern sky one night last week around 8:30. It rose a very dark orange, and then all of a sudden it was distorted looking as it was rising, and then it would like get into a round circle, and then it was like oblong, and then it would get in a round circle again, and then all of a sudden um, there was this big old dark cover, like a big old curtain, and it literally went up behind it, and I never saw it anymore the rest of the night. But I saw the stars in the sky, so that was very strange. So yeah, we can see the stars in the sky here at times, but we won't see the moon in the sky at times for some strange reason. It's like a sky with no moon. Yeah, and if the moon does spin, why do we only see the one part of it at times? That's what I want to know. We see the same features on the moon. Yeah. The fires are happening because of the volcanic activity in this particular core, and it's falling off and falling to the ground where the explosions um, are because of the molten lava. You're in Germany, and you've seen that a lot and a lot of strange things. Yeah, yeah, they do jump around. They jump around because if you take a live photo of a star in the sky, and you look at that frame by frame, you'll see that it changes shapes, it changes colors, it shape shifts and color shifts. Um, and sometimes you're going to see a face in it. So that leads me to believe these stars are not big balls of fire at all. They are living beings up there in the sky, living beings that literally do move. They're not what we have been told. That's all I know. And I never knew anything like this before 2 years ago. In fact, he didn't matter to me. I was trying to live a different life um, like everyone else. You're very, yeah. Well, so far, it doesn't seem that like this moon has moved very much, although I know I have to keep adjusting this tripod. But I'm standing in the shade under one of my Japanese weeping widow trees so I can have this shading me from the sun, because if I try to zoom in on this with the sun beating down on me, I'm not going to be able to see. Um, yeah, I can make it smaller, a tad bit smaller in the sky. Oh, I didn't take a picture of the moon yet either. That's okay. hmm And you know, I know all of you all have noticed, or some of you have noticed, the different colors of blue that we see in the sky at times. It's it's like never a constant same color blue, and even the night sky at times. When you're looking up at the night sky, at nights, it literally looks like a blackish blue. It is so super, super dark. It's like it could literally, if they wanted to, the sky could turn pitch black, because sometimes that's what it looks like at times, like a pitch black blue with some stars. But then other times, you know, you can see the stars in the sky and it's a different type of a dark blue. It's just so weird. Um, yeah, bodies without souls. Um, yeah. Um, they created the internet just to track. Yeah, no. Um, but I did hear something very interesting. There are people who have, now we're going to talk about the extraterrestrials, okay? We know that there's different types of extraterrestrials out there, and some people like to say aliens, the different races of aliens. But then I was told that the word alien is very derogatory to some extraterrestrials. So, um, yeah, this friend that I spoke with spoke of the insectoids, the extraterrestrial races, and they are insectoids, and they are up there, and that they have the ability. Now, this may sound strange to you all, but you know, I believe that there is truth into some of these things that I'm hearing from people, because I hear a lot of people, and I get to talk with people from all walks of life and hear what they experience. Um, these extraterrestrials, they have the ability to come and take 25% of your spirit when you're asleep, and you will, like, so-called astral travel. They can take you. They took this person to their home planet, okay? And when this individual got there, he was led to this place where there were other humans, and there were these eggs. And inside these eggs, they were babies. These eggs, inside the eggs, there were like these caterpillars. They were the insectoids, you know, offspring, and I guess had mated with human beings somehow to create more of their race. But they had spikes on their heads, and um, and at that moment, this individual realized that yes, this is the insectoid's home planet. And you know, if you speak to a lot of people, and if they have experiences with extraterrestrial, the main age that they come is around 5 to 7 years of age. Um, but anyhow, and this other individual, um, some extraterrestrials came and got her while she was in sleep stage and took her to the third planet from the sun or something. And she literally drew that galaxy, which she saw, and how it is right next to our galaxy. So these stories that people are telling of these different races of beings and stuff, it is real and it's happening. And there are different races, and this is not the first time I heard of the insectoids. Um, I was filming a star one night. It was last year, I think, and all of a sudden, these big old black, long finger-like things came rolling across this star like a shadow. It was scary when I first saw it. And I couldn't contain my tone of my voice, because it was just absolutely thinking, I don't know what was going on. And it just kept happening. Uh, so there are some kind of giant beings up there also in the sky. And I don't know what they're doing up there. I really don't. And I know if somebody was to hear, if you hear somebody talking like that, they think, well, this person's done lost it. But you know, you wouldn't feel they done lost it if you yourself had experiences and you think, okay, this collaborates what I've been saying. Um, sure are, and day by day, desensitizing the youth. Yeah. Well, I know the Bible speaks of the fallen angels, but if you do remember, in the book of Job, Satan came before God, and he said, surely God will, like, you know, he wanted to test Job, and God gave him permission because he thought Job would just absolutely turn on God. So he went to God like 3 times, and even when he tried to completely destroy him with sores and everything on his body, he couldn't. So he's been walking to and fro within the earth, But yeah, but we've had these fallen angels on the earth, I believe, for thousands upon thousands of years. Uh, and the reason I say this, you can look back at the history of earth, the wars and the mass genocides and stuff, that does not come from God. That would have to come from something very, very evil. Okay, and I do believe that there are the fallen angels on this earth. And there are demons walking the face of this earth. And they are controlling people. And they're doing the work of the evil one. Okay, so to totally say that any extraterrestrials in the sky are the fallen angels up there, and ships in the sky belong to the fallen angels, let me tell you something. They don't need a ship to get around. Okay, they do not need a ship to get around. Okay, they don't. And you know, we have good angels also. We have good angels who can literally come down to this earth also. So to say that all extraterrestrials and things like that are the fallen angels, I can't buy into that. I know that's a theory, uh, and I can agree to disagree. Um, yeah, I really can. And I really do think that there are these Pleiadians, these Arcturians, these Greys, these alien Greys. Um, and it just makes you think they were all created. They were all created. And who created them? That's what makes a person think. Who created them? The movie, I don't remember a movie with a giant queen controlling the minds of the peep. I don't remember. I don't really watch most movies at all. I don't watch movies at all. But in the insect kingdom, the queen, the females are the queen. So I haven't personally had any experience like that, and they do have the ability to wipe your mind if they want to, and they can leave markings on people's bodies. Um, Certainly, you want to guard your heart above all things because it is the wellspring of life. You want to guard your mind, your spirit. You want to keep, you want to put a big love barrier all around you. You really do. Um, you dream about architecture a lot. Oh, the Arcturus a lot. You've also had dreams where you're in a different reality. I had a dream like that last night. Not last night. I took a nap in the afternoon. I was so exhausted. It was even before noontime. And I dreamt I was in this place. This person said, "Congratulations, you have won a free spa thing. We're going to take you to the spa." They were trying to treat me like some privileged individual, and they were leading me to this spa. I thought, you know, I've never been to a spa before. They said, "Well, we're going to give you a manicure." I said, "I've never had a manicure before. I don't need a manicure." And they had all these luxurious things setting out. And the next thing I knew, I look around me, and this was like a little small section of a city with a few buildings and slaves who work in there. And it was in the middle of nowhere. There was no escape. And I thought, I've got to get out of this place. I am not staying in this place. That's what I said to myself. I said, they are not keeping me here. So I thought, I know who can help me get out of this. And I said, I know that there are these extraterrestrials, these spacecraft, these UFOs that watch me wherever I go. They are going to help me get out of this place that this has put me in. And all of a sudden, before me, I saw these UFOs, and they were like beaming some light down. But where I was at, this area, they realized that they were doing that, so the UFOs had to stop. And then all of a sudden, they showed up before me again, and then I was beamed out and I woke up. So that was a weird dream. Yeah, you can get trapped and you can get, I don't know, this is all strange and it's all new to me. And I know this stuff exists. It's like Jacob's ladder. You know, there's this story in the Bible how Jacob was wrestling with this angel all night long. Um, and then he woke up. Yeah, so this this exists, okay, and it's documented all over the place. And I'm sure there are so many people who have so many experiences that they could share with others, what they've been through and what they've experienced. You just teleported away to another dream. Yeah, it is. Mally loves Miss Gina. She fine too, you know, Mal, and a lady's mind. Don't make me giggle. But yeah. Um, we live in very interesting times, is all I've got to say. Very, very interesting times. And I think, yeah, I really don't know what to think at times. There's just so much happening, so much going on. And I know that a lot of people have their own areas. Like if you've got a Facebook page or a YouTube channel, I know they have their own areas and their own topics that they focus on. I just like to explore all topics. It doesn't matter to me. And that sometimes makes me, some people think, well, she's getting off the subject of the moon. Well, I know I'm looking at the moon, but you know what? I don't know what else to say about the moon. So, yeah, we're just staring at a picture. So we can talk about other things. Um, yeah, that's right. The rapture, but nobody understands. That could be true, fifth world. Yep. I wouldn't dismiss it either. And you know, if you watch those movies Left Behind, I watched one time, a part of one, and the people are literally, they somehow, this light comes down from the sky, I guess. I think I watched it. And their clothes are nice and neat, folded on the ground, so they got beamed out somehow. So you would have to think, well, how'd they get beamed out? It had to come from the sky. Yeah. And there is a theory that you can ascend to the new world and leave this 3D world behind when a certain amount of consciousness reaches a certain level. Well, I do know that love is the most powerful force on the earth, and it can conquer anything, even the dark forces. A light worker in the 144. I'm out here eating goji berries. I'm standing by this goji berry bush, and I'm seeing these orange goji berries, and I'm eating them. I know that doesn't have anything to do with the moon. Here comes my one solo bird flying over. Well, I'm probably about done with this. The contrains the brain. Yes, and I also heard from this person who's talking about the insectoids or whatever, that sometimes, you know, a dark circle or something could be put overhead where some people are, and if they walk under it, they can feel all this negativeness and fear. It creates a lot of fear. But if they step out of it, they don't feel it. But if they walk under it, they can feel it. There are things like that in place. This insectoid told this person, and it can change. It can cause mind control too. So somebody has the ability out there to do mind control, and it's kind of sad because you don't really want someone else in control of your mind. These are the biggest goji berries I've ever ate. mm. Yeah. when you put it into contrast to them, you can see the insect angels. Actually, I saw this image. This person was talking to me last night, and I went on his Facebook page, and there looked like a kind of like a gargoyle thing, but it didn't have a gargoyle head. But it was, he caught it in the sky. It was strange looking, but it was real. And I thought, wow, you've got some neat images. And at first, if you would look at it, you think, well, that's a bat. But then bats don't have wings like this thing had. And it had 2 arms and 2 legs. It was massive, and it was really dark, very dark gray. Every time you have a dream, it always takes you to a place in the eastern sky. Well, I don't have any bad aliens or extraterrestrials trying to get me. I don't. I do feel that I am protected. I'm going to be ending this video. This moon is still like stuck here in the sky. Dragons, it could be. Over 12 races or over half of good Bigfoot aliens working with the Greys. You feel protected. Hello, Casey. Casey Mosa, aka Blue Jay Sage. Just so the Malibu can fly in. Ancient symbology. I don't know if any of you know anything about ley lines. With the, you know, I'm sure you've read about the Great Pyramids, how they're set on strategic ley lines. And it was told to me that these ley lines, literally, the extraterrestrials could teleport because of these ley lines. Can teleport from one spot to another. And so, you know, my friend had asked me to come over one day and find these geopathic ley lines or whatever it is, and find out where they converge. And I never heard of nothing like that, but anyhow, she thought I had this dowsing rod. You know, these are things that you use to find water. These, like, you make it out of a stick or something. Well, I looked it up because I never knew what it was, and I made some out of copper tubing from my refrigerator, and I measured them a certain length. So I went over there, and I found these ley lines in her house. There were 3 main ley lines that ran through her house, and they weren't the good kind or something like that. And she asked if I could move those ley lines. And I said, well, I don't know, because I could find them with my copper rods because they're energy. So I found them. So I don't know who. I said I want to move these ley lines around 1 foot. Could you please move this ley line around 1 foot? And so the ley line was moved. And my friend said, well, could you ask to move it a little bit more so it's not even in my house? I said, well, I don't want to ask too much of the spirit world, the spiritual world of whatever. But I did, and I literally moved it out of her house. In fact, I went back to where all the ley lines were, and I moved them all out of her house. So these ley lines, I have them crossing all over my yard. I have moved some in my yard, moved them a little further away. I don't know if any of you have the ability to find the ley lines with instruments like that or not. And if you do you have the ability to move them? Yeah. Ley lines, you just look out geopathic ley lines. It's like a grid line. It is a grid line. There's supposed to be grid lines that run all across the world. But there's certain lines, like I forget what this was. There's this one city, I don't even know what state it was, but one of these ley lines, it was a stress line or something, ran through this town. And all of the people who lived near it, they got cancer and died because it was a bad one. It was a bad, like, energy ley line. I haven't read up on it in a long time, but yeah, all the people got cancer and died throughout the years, and they wondered, why is there such a high cancer rate uh, of death in this area of this town? So they sent experts down there, and that's what they found out. And I'm sorry, I don't remember the town, but I heard that a while back, and you know, I didn't really pay too much attention to it. But I looked it up when I did, and it did make sense. Uh, yeah, that's true. I'm sure there's somebody watching this video who know about these geopathic ley lines. And, you know, you can have a main one where they converge. I've got a main one where they converge in my yard. And, you know, I don't know if there's anyone on here either, but when I'm walking outside, I can smell the energy. I can smell certain energies from certain areas of my yard. It's very sweet smelling and pleasant smelling, but it's only in certain areas when I walk by them. I don't know if anyone else has ever sensed that or ever done that, picking up on the energies or spirits or whatever they are. They have a smell to them, a very pleasant smell. I'm jumping all over the place with my topics. I'm sorry, but yeah. Yeah, main one's converging to form a vortex. Uh, um, yes, sweet kind of. Yes, it is. That's right. Negative spirits smell like sulfur. I've never smelled the negative spirits, but all throughout my yard, uh, it's all around uh, that outer perimeter is where it's at. And sometimes, excuse me, sometimes I don't know if they're spiritual angels or the energy, but I can smell them, and it's so strange. And I know when I smell them, I get this overwhelming feeling that angels are around, something like that. It's really neat, and I haven't been outside much, so I haven't been able to smell it very much. I did smell it last weekend because I was outside. I walked. I spent a little time outside. Yeah. Oh, sulfur outside your door. Sulfur? Hmm. Yeah. Um, well, it's gotten silent out here. And I will end this video, but I do thank you all for tuning in. And I'm sorry, I do touch on a lot of topics that interest me because it's probably interesting to others. Ley lines are a portal, positive and negative. I don't call them negative in the name of Jesus. Yeah, expel them out. That's exactly right. Um, so yeah, I moved all the negative ones. And it's really, if you think about it, it's really mind-boggling how the human body can pick up on that. And not everyone has that gift. Not everyone can do that. Um, find these ley lines, and when you get really good at it, you can find them with your hands. You really can. Um, but yeah, I guess it's a gift. I can't read that language on there. You all have a beautiful day too. And thank you all once again. And I will talk at you later. I'm glad I didn't get booted off this trying to do this moon at all.